Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Project Pixar. This time, talking about Pixar's 21st installment. We are in 2019. It is Toy Story 4. As always, I'm joined by Noah. How are you today, sir?
Good.
Awesome. So, I'm just going to get it out of the way. This is my least favorite Pixar film. I think not only is it my least favorite, I honestly think it's their worst. And I'm kind of baffled when people tell me how much they like this one, or that it won Best Animated Feature of the year at the Oscars. I mean, not that I put much stock in what the Oscars says, but yeah. So what do I want to start, or do you want to start? Who should start with their favorite character?
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
Just to preface me, it's not my least favorite, but it's not great, and it's definitely my least favorite of the 4 Toy Stories. But that being said, my favorite character was Bo Peep in this one. It's the only character that I feel had something interesting and not detrimental to their character in the film. I thought it was kind of cool that she was like rallied around this idea of being a lost toy, and she was like this scavenger. Really cool way to take a character that had little depth to her in the past, other than being like Woody's love interest-ish, and just kind of extrapolating and giving her like an actual character. And yeah, I thought she was pretty cool, and I liked how she used her bow, or her staff. She didn't have a bow.
Yeah.
She had a staff.
She's Bo Peep.
Yeah, I liked that. So she was kind of cool in that sense, and I would go with her.
That's fair.
Any favorite characters? I'm guessing no.
No, I have no favorite characters in this film, and I thought of just like forcing one out there to say, well, because I got to answer, but I just don't, and I'm not gonna lie about this film and how much I dislike it. So yeah, there's no characters that stand out for me. So we'll just go right to least favorite moment, which is mine.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick one, because the answer is the whole film. So we'll just say this. And I don't even know if this is the worst moment, but it starts it off on the wrong foot. And it's during the flashback in the beginning, which looks fantastic. And is an interesting way to start it. I guess the flashback took place, I want to say 10 years ago or something. I don't remember. I don't think they give a time, but we know it has to be after Toy Story 2 because Jessie is there. But it's before Toy Story 3, obviously. It's the night Bo Peep disappears, and they rescue RC in the rain. That's really good. And then, a family friend comes in to take Bo Peep and a couple other toys. They take him away, and so Woody goes out to try to rescue her, and she was like, toys get lost all the time. You could come with us. And he starts to get in the box.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And it's only when he hears Andy calling, "Where's Woody?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, Andy." Fuck you. That character would never do that. This character who has spent nothing but I'm Andy's toy. It at least somewhat makes a little sense that he has doubts when he's with the Ground Up gang, because he doesn't think he's ever even going to see him again. He thinks, I'll never get back to him, and I found these other people. The fact that he actually is about to climb into the box with Bo Peep, he's about to abandon Andy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He is.
Who directed this film? It was someone I'd never heard of his name before, and I don't know if he had help in the writing. Maybe he was just the directing, but please don't do it again. And I know that's a mean thing to say, but it's just I just cannot. It's like they'd never watched Toy Story before. He was literally going to abandon Andy and just climb in the box with Bo Peep. Ridiculous. No, what about you?
Least favorite. I'm sure you had so much more to add, but least favorite character was Buzz. I really dislike what they did with Buzz in this one. He had just a germ of a character idea in this. It's almost a joke. He was just a joke. I'll just follow what my pull string says, and that's his entire character in this one and what he does. Yeah, that's disappointing to say the least. I would also say that I really dislike it looks fine, but the location of the antique store to me is just so dry, and it looks dry, and it's boring, and it's just, and they go back to it multiple times. They don't. It's such a boring setting, and I hated that they used it so much, and there really wasn't anything interesting about it to me. While I don't per se dislike the character of Forky, I think that the voice actor does a good job. He's really, it's just a weird fit into the universe, and it brings up so many questions about, like, well, what else could be alive? Is a toaster alive if you put googly eyes on it? Like, what? What, presents as being alive? It's there to be like, oh, this existentialism and stuff, but that doesn't belong in a Toy Story film. So I don't know. It's got problems.
Absolutely. So what about the animation? Which is probably one of the only things I can truly praise about this film, because it's Pixar and their animation always looks good. Were there any particular parts that stood out to you?
Yeah, definitely, like you said, the flashback scene that starts off in the rain, where he's pulling RC out of the storm drain. The drain storm. The storm drain looks amazing. Like, to go from Toy Story 1 to 4, where that graphical bounce is crazy. It looks so good. And I'd also really like the lighting on the fairgrounds at night, and how it illuminates everything, and that looks photorealistic for the most part. And those are the parts that stand out the most to me.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Some of the cutaway scenes with Bunny and
Ducky.
Bunny and Ducky are pretty funny, the way they go up big. Beyond that, it's just a nice looking film overall. As always, I can never take that away from him. But beyond that, normally their little detail is so good, but I can't think of a single part that I'm just like, what? That scene, that scene was so neat. As a matter of fact, it has this. It's kind of an animation thing. It's really more of a story beat, but it is the most immersion breaking the toys ever get, which is when they're hijacking the RV to take it back to the camp. Again, beforehand in all the other films, when they have to come close to being seen by a human, they try to be as subtle and sneaky about it. This time they're just outright holding on to the gas pedal, constantly hitting the lock button. It's just in this one it completely shredded disbelief. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Yeah, but I do. I guess I have the image of the van at the RV in my head going trying to chug forward. So,
what was your first time memory? I can't imagine how you felt coming out of this. So.
Well, what's funny is it almost as if the movie theater was trying to warn me as an omen. So I think it was a timing thing, because we went to a theater we never go to, and this is an old style theater. A lot of the theaters around me nowadays have the recliner seats and the big spacious. This was old style. Not only that, it was cramped. These seats barely had any leg room. So it was this really old style theater. And I think we only went there because
buddy, you're gonna
exactly right. It was a convenient time, and it was packed with kids because it was the middle of the summer, and they were all talking and they wouldn't shut up. And I remember the scene where they first get to the antique store, and Woody's like, Bo, and Forky's like, Bo, 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 Bo. And the kids in the theater are going, Bo, Bo. So I'm hearing not only from the kids, and I'm just like, oh my God. I don't want to be that guy who stands up in the middle of the theater and says, please tell your kids to shut up. I'm trying to watch this. And it's so fresh, and these parents are just letting their kids sit there go, Bo, Bo. And it was just, it was a miserable theater experience. And then the movie was terrible on top of that. So, but like I said, when I'm in this cramped seat and all these kids, and I was just like, oh man, I should have just known right there. So not only was the movie not good, it was a unpleasant experience seeing it. What about you?
Yeah, I have a somewhat similar experience to that.
Oh, really?
I was at the dine-in theater again, so it was comfort-wise, it was fine. But there was a kid in the theater who just would not shut up throughout the movie, and his mom didn't take him out or anything like that, and so it's this type of it's hard because this type of theater is you're supposed to not speak in it, right? So, but it's a kid, so they can't really be like, oh, your kid's making noise. You know, it's a kids movie, so. But yeah, it was just annoying to me. It was like straight up taking me out of the movie at points. Going to see it later, like when I saw it later on, though, I was like, well, I didn't really miss too much, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember I saw it with my wife and her friend, and I left when the credits started rolling, I was just like, why? Like, it just felt so unfulfilling. It's like, this isn't the way I should feel after seeing a Toy Story movie.
All right, what about music? Was there any favorite musical moment for you?
I did. I mean, I liked Randy Newman's "Throw Yourself Away" song. It's catchy. It was kind of a fun little vignette in the film too, so I liked that. It was always good to hear from him in the Pixar films. Probably, maybe the best thing about the film too, in some ways. But yeah. On the flip side, I mean, I'm not a fan of country music to begin with, really. I mean, I'll appreciate some, but I really hate the Lonesome Cowboy song at the end. Like, it just puts the stamp on why it's a bad movie. Because, you know, I mean, basically it's saying that Woody's been lonely this whole time, and he hasn't, so he hasn't had his friends? Like, they haven't been around? Like, he's just been miserable this whole time since Indy left, huh? Okay, so I just don't buy it. And just another poor excuse to make this film, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. So the one musical moment that I can even remember is one I like, which is the opening montage with Friend in Me. It's You've Got a Friend in Me. It's a song I love. I just did a performance of it. It's on my channel. You can check it out. And it is a pretty good montage. Like, and I love the scene of where he's got Woody, Andy, and he's swooping him down through the swing set. But again, that's great because it's You've Got a Friend in Me, and it's a recap. We haven't started 4 yet, so that's the part that I remember the most. Is easily my favorite.
Favorite line, dialogue, joke, anything?
Fair is fair. There isn't much, but you know, hey, I won't deny. Okay, so how sad is this? The one time I smiled while watching this film again, I've seen it twice. I saw it once in theaters, and I just watched it recently for this project. The one time I smiled is during the end credits, or like the ending scene, when Bunny and Ducky are talking to Duke Kaboom, and they tell him this story, and he goes, "Whoa," and I laughed, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's the first time I smiled in this film," because Keanu Reeves' character said "whoa," which is a joke on the Matrix thing, like. But it did make me laugh, so fair is fair. And the other thing is, I did laugh at this in the theater. I didn't laugh at this the second time at all. But in the theater, when Buzz and Ducky and Bunny catch up, and they're like, "How on earth did you get that key?" And they set it up that they're trying to plan all these ways to get the key from the lady, and then she just walks by and sets it right in front of them. And that was funny. That got a laugh out of me. But that's it. There's no other lines or anything that I can say. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple moments I did find amusing. I did like the plush rush. Yeah, the setup with Bunny and Ducky and the old lady, and what they're like. She's like taking a bath and she goes to sleep, and you just see them slowly raising up over her. Like, that's a funny image, and that's a good part. I did like that. And overall, like, they're pretty funny additions. In a better film, they would have probably been good, but I think I brought this up. If they hadn't went on this and they like did like a, hey, we want to do a Key and Peele Pixar film, like, why not just go for do that? Yeah. That could be fun. Like do like a spin-off or whatever, and not even bring up the Woody gang and everything like that. So there's a moment when the Combat Carls are like all hanging out, and there's one that's like like high-fiving each other, and he's like, nobody's gonna, oh. He looks sad. Like, that was funny to me. Parts of Gabby Gabby worked for me. I did like, even though it doesn't quite, it feels a little bit rehashed, but I did like the moment where the little girl gets lost and they're like, she needs you, and so she goes down and she's there for her. Like, that hits me a little. I did like that. The only thing that gets me though is like, she's like, can you help me find my parents? And like, literally takes like 3 steps and her parents are right there.
Yeah.
It's like, is this kid blind? Like, her parents are right in front of her. Blinded by her sadness, I guess, but and her tears, but that kind of took away some of the impact of that moment because I just thought that was funny. Also, there is one moment, the whole Buzz pull string thing is really dumb, but the fact that Bonnie would think, like, we have to go back to the antique store or something like that, like, and Bonnie's like, oh, I left Forky at the antique store, or, you know.
Yeah, I left my backpack at the antique store.
That's right. Yeah, you left your backpack at the antique store. That's what it was. That was kind of that made me laugh.
As a concept,
like,
the idea that a toy would say that is very
would say that. Yeah, that's what I would. Yeah, those moments and like there is the moment at the end, like when they're all hugging and stuff like that, and it's sweet, but again, it just doesn't feel earned. So I think I know what the answer to this question will be. So I'll just go ahead and ask you. But what would you change? So
the truthful, very negative answer is everything. Don't make the film. But here's this will be the one time I'll be truly positive, is that when you make a sequel, you should be required to watch the previous films right before you make it. Because it's hard to believe that whoever made this, writing, directing, whatever, watched the previous films, because it completely goes against everything those films were and said and stood for. Woody is it's a joke what they do to his character. Literally what he's known for is loyalty. As Andy passes him off to Bonnie, he says, now what makes Woody special is that he never gives up on you. And he abandons the toys at the end of this film. He stays with Bo Peep. Why? He's apparently so in love with Bo Peep, he's willing to abandon Andy in the beginning of the film. It's ridiculous. Bo Peep herself says in this film, in the only good line Woody has, when he tells her it's called loyalty. That's something a lost toy wouldn't know about.
Yeah.
And Bo Peep
it is the line, but he didn't act that way in the film.
No,
so
he didn't. The line is correct, but the character doesn't act that way. And then Bo Peep comes back later
also,
and like literally goes back to him to say, that's what I love about him, because he is stubborn and loyal and he will have your back no matter what. And that's why she goes back to help him, because that's what I love about him. The characters in this film just do things. They have no motivation. They have no reasoning. When they're in the antique store and Bo Peep is like trying to get back Forky for Woody, he's constantly like messing up, freaking out, like running across the carpet, getting caught. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Just tell me what to do. It's like, you idiot. She did tell you what to do. Stay behind me. Follow. Like, he just does things. He just reacts to things. He doesn't actually have a character. He doesn't have motivations. And the idea that he would abandon all of them, these people who went through the trash incinerator, the best film, the best scene in all of Pixar, arguably, it's a joke. It's a complete joke. But you know what? Buzz is probably even worse. This guy's been around how long? How many times has Andy played with him and pressed his... And he doesn't know? Like, I don't even know what to say. It's mind-boggling. It is baffling that they said, yeah, this is Buzz Lightyear. And at least he gets to be in the film, even though it's complete garbage. Jesse doesn't get to do anything. At that end scene when they all say goodbye and Woody's looking all over all the toys, I was like, yeah, too bad none of them were in the film and they weren't allowed to actually be here. It pisses me off so much. Ducky and Bunny, like you said, maybe could be okay in their own film, but I don't find them too funny here. Gabby is a complete waste. Her storyline with the stupid kid. This kid is shown to play and with Tea Time. This girl plays in an antique shop with Tea Time. She takes Woody to the park and pushes him on a swing. And yet for some reason, when she grabs this toy, because they're trying to manipulate the audience, she goes, meh, stupid, and literally doesn't set it back on the shelf, throws it away. Utter nonsense. And then Woody goes back to like rescue. She's fine. She's not in any danger. She's just laying in that box. Like it bugs the crap out of me how stupid the characters in this film are. Forky, I think, is terrible. Like, I don't like that character at all. He's annoying. His whole thing of throwing himself away constantly isn't enjoyable in the slightest. Again, it just feels like whoever made this has never heard of Toy Story before. And was like, literally was like, what if he actually thought he was a real space ranger? That'd be a good idea, right? Yeah, guess what? They fucking did that 25 years ago. Oh my God. It's insanity to me. And especially after Toy Story 3 being a near perfect film with a perfect ending, the idea that you would drag it back out to piss all over it like this is disgusting, and shame on anyone who thought that was a good idea. What about you?
Well, I can't really follow that up, but I will try. The one thing I would say is that, yes, it shouldn't have been made at all. I believe what the director said was they felt like that Andy's story had finished, but Woody's had not, and I don't really buy that. So they used, like I said, just this idea of, oh well, we never said what happened to Bo Peep, so that gives us an opportunity to delve into something else with the character, so we can make a fourth one, so we can, I don't know, make money. I guess I don't know, but because honestly, everyone seems. It sucks because I know Tom Hanks is probably like, he thinks he probably, he did a great job, there's voice acting and everything like that. He is Woody, but, I don't know if they know or feel bad about where their characters were in this at all. Like, I'm wondering if, Tim Allen was reading these lines and thinking, what the hell, why?
Yeah.
Why is Buzz doing this? I feel bad for them because their kind of reputation is kind of in the, for this film kind of hurts it a little bit. So really, all this movie really did was show that Andy made a mistake by giving the toys, and specifically Woody, to Bonnie, because Bonnie puts him in a closet, and that's what the film wanted to show us. Like, it basically says Andy's decision was dumb.
Yes.
And it wasn't the right decision. He shouldn't have left Woody with her because she doesn't care about him. And then, therefore, I don't care about Bonnie, and if I don't care about Bonnie, then I don't want the other toys to go back with her because they're probably just going to get left by the wayside again as well. So yeah, it's got problems, as I said in the beginning.
This film really suffers too from a real mix of theme and message, that all the toys at the fairground, like Ducky and Bunny, they all want to be with a kid. When they find out, like, you've got a kid, it is portrayed, which is what the series has always been, that being loved by a kid is the greatest thing you could have in this film. But then it also wants to have it the other way. No, you need to be a free toy. You need to be completely on. So which is it? Is it that you want to be loved by a kid or not? Because for 3 films, that was always the thing, is that was the greatest thing you could do, was be loved by. I mean, Buzz says that to Woody in Toy Story. To do what, Woody? Sit behind a piece of glass the whole time? One toy taught me that the greatest thing is that they could be loved by a kid, and that toy was you. Like, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, like you said, like, if that was such a... They were so excited, like, oh, you got a kid, you got a kid. And then they don't even fucking go with the other toys at the end. They stay at the fair. Like, did you not forget what the characters did, like, just at the beginning of the film? Like, there's no attempt at an arc there. It's just
characters reacting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's just characters doing thing. The Bonnie thing, even the little bit we saw of Bonnie in Toy Story 3, she loved Woody kind of pretty highly above the other toys. Oh, my cowboy. So for her to turn around and, who cares about him? I want this crappy fork I made in school, like... And I'm glad you mentioned the closet thing. Here's a small attention to detail that old Pixar would have picked up on. Woody has a dust bunny on him in the closet. Even though he's moving around and getting up and clearly, like, how does he get dust bunnies on him when he's constantly moving around? Like, does that matter? No, it's a tiny detail. But I feel like the Pixar of old would have picked up on that and wouldn't have done that. But, like, I can't fucking stand it.
Well, at least they won't make a Toy Story 5 and then
I just get crushed.
It just crashes on
the
it.
logo comes. Again, it's just this is my least favorite type of entertainment and media. A bad movie is one thing. A movie that actively pisses on everything that came before it. You know, and this isn't the only movie to do it. There's TV shows do it. How often do people complain about season finales of TV shows because it just craps on everything that happened? But like for shock value or for money or for whatever, I don't even know what the reason is. But like, you had 3 amazing films, and the third one just capped it off perfectly. And so to dig that back up, and then to butcher it so badly, I literally don't know who got it worse. Literally. I don't know who got it worse, Woody or Buzz, because what they do to Woody is a travesty and absolutely terrible, but what they do to Buzz is just downright insulting. It's, man.
I'm sure Don Rickles is rolling around in his grave.
Yeah, it's bad. I hope they never make a 5th. Again, it won an Academy Award. I've heard a lot of people like this film too, so if you like this film, I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to share why I hate it as much as I do. And if you like it, power to you. Trust me, I wish I could. I wish even like a character like Duke Kaboom, I should have liked, and like I just felt nothing for. I was like, yeah, he's just there.
Yeah, it felt like stunt casting, and he's a stunt man.
And again, what's his tragic backstory? Oh, I just wanted a kid to love me, and they just go so back and forth with that. But no, what a toy really wants to be is free. Since when did Woody ever want to be free? Like, oh, I'm just gonna go in circles if I keep going about this film. So.
Keep chasing that tail.
Right, exactly. So that was Toy Story 4. Moving on is we've got 2 left, and that's both in 2020. You know what? Let's get away from Toy Story 4. We should move onward. We'll see you then.
Should.
Take care.